It's Friday. You know what that means.
Uh-oh.
This list sucks, this list sucks, this list sucks, this list sucks, it sucks.
Welcome back to This List Sucks. My name is JB.
Hey, I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Reunited and it feels so good.
Yeah, it does feel good to get back together.
Dude, it feels really good.
The mishap last week, COVID-related scare, we had to unfortunately record remotely, but we're back in person. As you can see if you're watching on YouTube in HD.
Hey, gang. 4K, son.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yeah. With your ears, with your eyes, however you're doing it.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Got another good episode
Listen.
today.
Indeed.
Some more shitty albums to talk about. Not
Yeah.
all of them are shitty.
No. I mean, listen, I think there's, just like every week, there's bright spots and then there's dark spots, but we definitely have some stuff that we need to
Hash out. Yeah.
we gotta, I guess, like, the dirty laundry has been aired. It's been thoroughly cleaned and vetted, and now I guess we just gotta fucking put these clothes away.
Yeah. So we posed the question a couple weeks ago. Mike posed the question comparing Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters. Well, I pretty much brought up that I was listening to this record, Fetch the Bolt Cutters by Fiona Apple, that was released this year quite a bit. And Mike listened to it, and he heard a lot of similarities to Annie DeFranco. And we decided to kind of stack a couple records up and just get people's opinion, get some listener input and see what people were thinking. So we decided to do a little Facebook poll, and we stacked up Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters with Annie DeFranco's Little Plastic Castle. And we ran a little poll, and we have the results of that to kind of air out today. So
And then the results are not good.
they're conclusive.
They're not. they're conclusive that my thoughts that perhaps Little Plastic Castles was more engaging is just flat out wrong.
I was just joking, though. I think they're both great records. But here, I'll count up the results really quick. So we have 1, 2, 3.
I'm
4.
just telling you right now, this whole fucking thing is rigged.
Yeah, we got about.
I'd like to file a lawsuit.
70% for Fiona Apple.
That doesn't even seem right. I'd like a recount, please.
Topical. Well, you're gonna have to take that up with the Supreme Court.
I wish we didn't have to certify these election results.
I did listen to Little Plastic Castles again, with particular listening to the guitar, because you had mentioned that last week.
Yeah, what'd you
and I
think?
liked it a lot. I think it's a great record. The guitar was interesting, like you talked about the percussiveness of it. It was pretty cool. She definitely has a cool way of playing the instrument.
Yeah. It's unique. I love the horns too.
The horns are cool.
Listen,
Very cool.
In defense of, not that clearly Fiona Apple doesn't need any defense. More people liked the Fiona Apple record, or more people were drawn to it. And she makes an entire album with, it sounds like just shit that she has lying around her apartment, right?
Yeah.
And it's really
Some
wild.
cool instrumentation on that.
Yeah, listen, she makes really cool noises with really strange stuff, and it works. It's a great album.
I agree.
It's a really great album.
But so is Little Plastic Castles.
Yeah.
And yeah,
just not as great.
we're thinking we'll do a couple, maybe another poll comparing a couple albums sometime soon. So
We've got to
that'll be
do
fun.
something to break up this list, because listen, this list is not great, and
it's
we
hard
have to
go through.
It seems as though we would be doing a disservice to a lot of albums that got snubbed on this list if we weren't somehow trying to incorporate them in at least some type of way, right? Some type
Agreed.
of comparison to stuff that did appear on the list. So we'll keep that going. But
Definitely.
But happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Obviously, yesterday was Thanksgiving holiday, and
Yes.
weird, I'm sure,
I'm
for
still
most
full.
people.
Yeah, weird year for it with the.
Yeah, weird year because of COVID, but it didn't stop me from fucking smashing pecan pie down into
Yeah.
my gullet. And yeah, I feel the same way. I woke up this morning, and granted, I did drink a lot yesterday, but
Of gravy, or of what did you drink of? Because that's what I will start my morning. Just a big glass of gravy.
you know that my wife for Christmas probably 5 years ago was given a gift from one of our older children, and it was a flask that was engraved with the word gravy.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the?
My
the
wife is a huge
particular
gravy
meaning?
aficionado.
She just loves gravy.
Yeah, she loves gravy so much that the kids decided that she needed a flask that she could haul with her.
Well, holy shit! Yeah, you should bring that over, and I'll fill it up with some of my gravy that I made. She might.
Listen, she will take you up on that gravy offering.
My gravy is your gravy.
JB, stop talking about giving my wife your gravy. Listen, in all fairness, hope that everybody had a safe Thanksgiving. Hopefully, hopefully we don't see massive COVID outbreaks after tomorrow's holiday and whatnot. But that does make today Friday because we're here, we're doing the show, and that also means that it's a new Music Friday. And good news for the world. Seriously, there's really good news for the world because this year has sucked so bad. Just across the board, no live music. I mean, we did get some. I feel like we got releases this year from artists that wouldn't have normally released an album.
Yeah, maybe they had a little more time.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Trey. I don't know that we get that Taylor Swift album that we got without COVID or whatnot. And thankfully now, 2020 has brought us a new Miley Cyrus release. Which, listen, all I'm telling you is that you can't possibly get an album like Plastic Hearts from Miley Cyrus without a year like 2020.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It just fits the time and
yeah.
Interesting. I regret not giving this a listen. He mentioned it this morning and I should have dove into it, but tell me about it. What's the deal with it?
Listen, this is my favorite way that I've been able to create the best synopsis that I can give you for this album is this is an album that is good, but it's full of bad music.
Okay. Yeah, I think I remember you saying that.
Does that make sense?
Maybe. I think I'm going to have to listen to it to know what you mean by that exactly. But
well, you can have songs that are not good songs.
Yeah.
But they're done really well.
Certainly.
So that's how you can have a good album full of bad music.
It's intriguing.
Listen, the crux of the argument is this: Miley Cyrus decided that glam rock done by women in the mid 1980s is the sound that she was going after.
Perfect.
And she nails it, dude.
Well,
she's got this wonderful little rasp to her voice now because apparently I think she had some type of surgery done.
I was going to say too many cigarettes, too many at the slot machine.
There's definitely a lot of cigarettes. There's definitely a lot of booze behind that voice. There's definitely just a lot of drugs behind that voice, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, like, you
can't get that voice without cigarettes, booze, drugs, and 2020.
And she tells you all about it on the record. That's the best part.
She lays it all out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
This album is about breaking up with dudes, getting loaded, drinking, and then fucking.
Hell yeah.
That's it. That's
all you hang out with Miley Cyrus.
She does seem.
My girlfriend's not listening to this podcast.
She does seem like she would be a hoot to hang out with. But in all seriousness, you should definitely check it out because I have dubbed this album. This is my soundtrack for 2020.
Yeah, I'll definitely listen to it. Maybe we'll bring it up again next week.
Perhaps.
But yeah, all the listeners out there, check it out. What's it called?
It's called Plastic Hearts.
Plastic Hearts.
Yeah. And in the deluxe edition, there's a great cover of Heart of Glass by Blondie. And
she's a good fit for a Blondie cover.
Yeah, really. And it works. It works really, really well. Now my wife didn't care for it as much.
Did you like the rest of it?
No.
No, not a Plastic Hearts fan.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And listen, let's assume that 70% of the people that listen to this podcast are going to listen to that and be like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Because I got a bad thing for Belladonna, the Stevie Nicks album from like 1984, 1985. It screams. The whole album reeks of that kind of that sound, that vibe.
Well, I like that. That definitely interests me.
Joan Jett. In fact, Joan Jett is featured on one of she does a song with Joan Jett and she does a song with Billy Idol. And then there's another song like that right in the very front of she basically does a nod to like Sympathy for the Devil. You know, the guitar work
beginning.
in
Yep.
front of Sympathy and the Devil, and then it's Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
She does one of those on there too.
Wow.
And it works.
Cool.
I mean, it works for me. It
Good for
probably
her.
doesn't work for most people.
I bet it's going to work for me from
You
what
think
you're
so?
saying. I think so. Yeah. I
could.
kind of have a thing. I like Miley Cyrus. I dig a lot of her stuff.
I dig a lot of her stuff too.
I think she's kind of a badass too.
You know, there was a point in time in my life where if I saw Miley Cyrus stick her tongue as far out of her mouth as she could possibly force it to go,
Yeah.
I would have slapped her. But I
Drove
also
her that.
listen. I think she was like 20 years old.
Yeah. She's done some crazy shit.
20-year-olds are
concerts, too.
stupid.
Yeah, they really are. And what is she now?
Like 27.
Yeah. She's
So
like my age.
she's legitimately still like questionable.
Yeah. She could make some bad decisions.
100%. But no, not 100%. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Yeah. 99%.
99%.
Yeah. we don't go full 100 anymore.
91. I agree with that statement. 91%.
91.782%.
What do you think about 470?
Should we dive into it?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we're picking it back up. The
Back
Rolling
that ass up.
Stones, the 500 greatest albums of all time. That's what we're doing here. This is episode 7 tonight, huh?
Is it?
Or is it
Happy
6?
episode 7.
Oh, yeah, it's episode 7.
Yeah, happy episode 7, yeah.
So
we're
we
only
are-
3 away.
Yeah.
3 away from the 10%
The
mark.
big one. Yeah. Crack some champagne when we get there. But anyways, picking it back up at number 470 on Rolling Stone's list is Juvenile's 400 Degrees from 1998. From the moment Juvenile asked, "That's you with that badass Benz," and punctuated the bar with a cocky, dismissive "ha," rap's axis tilted. The New Orleans rapper's third album reoriented hip-hop toward a new southern sound, driven by producer Manny Fresh's intergalactic beats. "Ha" and "Back That Ass Up" were earth-shaking singles. Now you get the reference. And Juvenile's young but old growl brought out the blues in Ghetto Children and Dickensian horror in Gone Ride With Me. 400 Degrees added new sonic textures that pop music is still mining. I don't know about all that. What'd you think, Mike?
I was trying to think about Gone Ride With Me and how somebody drew a reference to Charles Dickens. That's
Yeah,
really what
I don't even know what that even means. Like, yeah, there must be some of the lyrical content obviously is, but who knows with that one.
Listen,
This
this
was-
is early Cash Money Records. Right?
Yes.
Cash Money Records eventually the fine outfit that produced Lil Wayne.
Yes.
In fact, that to me the most fascinating part of this record was from what I can gather, this record was released in 1998.
Yes.
Which means that it was most likely recorded 1997.
Yeah, and Lil Wayne was active. I remember looking it up because I was like, this has to be maybe his first appearance.
I thought so too.
It said Wikipedia has him active from either 95 or 96, but this might be his first mainstream appearance. You know.
I definitely think that I would have to say that these songs were the first songs that really broke big in a way where he was on them. And
Yeah.
he's not even listed as a feature, right? Like if you look at the cover of this album, it's talking about the Big Timers.
He's not he's not listed on the cover, but he is listed in the individual tracks.
Well,
Yeah.
and to be fair, Lil Wayne is one of the Hot Boys. So when they talk about featuring Big Timers, BG, and Hot Boys, Lil Wayne is one of the Hot Boys. And if I have this correct, I believe that it's Juvenile, Lil Wayne, and then the two Big Timers were the guys that made up the Hot Boys.
Really?
I believe.
Interesting. I feel like you rarely see the featured artist on the cover of a record. Is that weird? Or is that just me?
No, that's weird.
Yeah. I feel like that's never really seen, so that's interesting.
In fact, I want to say that that's something that you really only saw with maybe Cash Money releases and maybe No Limit releases. Because I feel like No Limit Records did a lot of that where they would put features on the album.
Who was on No Limit?
That's Master P.
Okay, yeah.
Thought I told ya.
So, I mean, maybe it kind of says something, the fact that as soon as we started talking about this record, the only thing we really mentioned was Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
you know.
And listen, let's also point this out. Lil Wayne was born in 1982.
Whoa, so he was like 16 when this came out.
When this album was released, he was 16.
Yeah. So he
Which
was,
means that the raps that you're hearing on this album are probably from
wow, that's inappropriate.
a
Wildly.
15-year-old
Yeah.
Lil Wayne.
Rapping about murder and shit.
Although, funny that you should mention rapping about murder and shit. Did you notice what they did on Gone Ride With Me?
Let me see. What? I gotta find
In
it.
the hook of Gone Ride With Me, which is the third track on there.
I did not note anything about the hook on that. What was the deal?
It's censored.
Is
Even
it?
on the explicit version of this album, it's censored.
What should it have been?
The one word that they're censoring in there is homicide.
That's weird.
Yeah. I thought that was really, really weird with me. Because basically the line is, do you want a homicide with me? But they put that kind of cut mix over the top of homicide. So you really have to listen to it to hear that that they're talking about homicide.
Weird.
Yeah. I thought so too.
So I thought the tracks on this record were actually pretty dope. I'm gonna be
Really?
honest. I thought a lot of the backing tracks were really cool. I liked when you got the funk guitar. There was a lot of like funk wah wah guitar in there, which kind of like reminded me of like West Coast kind of stuff a little bit.
A little bit. The bass,
The bass
Dude,
guitar was cool.
the live bass work, like the tracks where they had live bass work in it, the live bass work was really dope.
Yeah,
thought it was cool.
I agree, and even like there were a couple tunes that I remember like had a kind of a cool synth bass line on it, and there was just the bass player was using a lot of nice use of space. You know, he was like pretty like starts and stops and stuff, and there were a lot of what I would refer to as like early trap beats. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Which is like a lot of like the fast non-repeating hi-hat rhythms and like you
Yep.
know, that kind of stuff,
Yep.
which I thought was really cool. So like the beats on this got me pretty pumped up, I'm gonna be honest.
Well, and I think that when they're talking about those sonic textures that pop music is still mining, I think that that's what they're talking about, right?
Which wasn't him. So like like he's not even he didn't produce it. So
The Big Timers did, by the way.
he
The
did.
Big Timers are a rap duo that one of them is the co-founder of Cash Money Records.
Is one of them Manny Fresh?
Yes, it's Manny Fresh and Marlon Williams, I think. Birdman Williams is the
Okay.
other one. Like, those two guys are the Big Timers.
So I dig their contribution to this record a lot more than I do Juvenile's. I gotta say. I mean, okay, so I thought his voice was fine, and his rapping was fine, and that's how I'd put it. Like, it was nothing special. And I think actually one of our listeners said something a little similar. Do you have the email by chance pulled up?
I do.
Pull up Lee's email and read what he said about, or at least some snippets of what he said about Juvenile.
Okay.
And specifically his follow-up email, because he sent 2 emails.
Yeah. All right. So I'm actually going to read this unabridged from friend of the show, Lee Stamper. Lee Stamper said, and he asked us to not read this until we had listened to it because he was very concerned about influencing
Which I
us.
didn't, yeah. So
I didn't either. Guys, I'm just really excited about this Juvenile album. I've never listened to it, and I'm sad about it. Growing up, the Big Timers were everything that I loved about rap, and they ushered in the Southern rap that was the backing track to most of my adolescence. Manny Fresh loves 2 things in life.
I love it.
Making dope beats and buying depreciating assets. Who else has a burgundy jet and a car with a fish tank in the back? Nobody.
I don't know, but I want one.
One thing you might not notice is the presence of OG Lil Wayne before he started sounding like Scarlett Johansson. For instance, he sings the chorus on Flossin' Season. He was the Cash Money prodigy before he really blew up. Yeah, also you should give a listen to Still Fly by the Big Timers, my favorite rap song ever, and Real Big by Manny Fresh. A love song to big things like cars, houses, and presumably his Wang. Love you guys and hope you like this album as much as I do. Okay, so...
But then the follow-up, read that too.
Okay,
He
yeah,
sent
and,
a
and then he sent us an addendum to that, and the addendum is, I actually think most of the strengths of this album have nothing to do with Juvenile.
Yep.
It seems like he's a pretty okay rapper with an incredible support system. I would probably like it more if it was just a Big Timers album. It's been added to my digital library, and I think it might send me down a Southern rap nostalgia train.
So that second email pretty much sums up how I feel about it. And I didn't read that email until afterwards. But that was
Nice.
a lot of what I wrote down was that I think that the tracks were super cool and the beats were really cool. And just the overall vibe of it was really cool. But the voice was generic, unremarkable, and just I wrote down that he was fine.